Using Technology to Increase Parent Involvement by Katie Fields. This research study investigates the impact that parental involvement has on a child's reading skills. Parents of 10 struggling readers were provided with a series of videos that each focus on our reading strategies that are taught and practiced repeatedly in the classroom. These videos also include techniques that parents can use at home to help their child while they are reading. Each video was made accessible to parents using the Teachers Classroom website as well as through a YouTube channel. In order to track the progress of students throughout this 5-week study, students were given 3 grade level passages before, during, and after the research study. The median score among the 3 passages were used to document each child's oral reading fluency. The results indicate that providing the parents of struggling readers with instructional videos to support and encourage them to read with their child at home increased each student's oral reading fluency by 4 to 8 words per minute. I work with my emergent readers to practice our reading strategies each day. I begin by introducing each strategy in sequential order from most basic to more complex. After each strategy is introduced, we practice using the strategy in a guided setting, usually during small group time. We practice each strategy very thoroughly before moving on to the next. Although my students are provided with effective and repetitive reading practice at school, sadly it is not enough. These first graders must receive intensive one-on-one reading practice each day in order to close the gap between where their reading skills are and where they need to be in order to succeed. I decided to reach out to parents for help with enhancing each student's reading skills. After doing so, I realized that most parents did not know where to begin to support their emergent readers at home. This led to parents simply not reading with their child at home at all. I stirred over what I could do to reach out to parents and teach them how to effectively help their child read at home in hopes of increasing parent involvement. I finally decided to use technology as a way to support, empower, and educate parents. Due to the fact that the information I was going to provide them with was much more than anything that could be typed in a letter, I decided to create a series of instructional videos for parents to use at home. I uploaded each video to my classroom website and my YouTube channel for parents to access as needed. The purpose of this research study is to determine if providing parents of struggling readers with empowering and supportive instructional videos to use at home would improve their child's oral reading fluency. I want to see if my students' reading skills improve when their parents are providing effective support and practice at home. I have one main question that is pertinent to this research. This question is, do online reading resources used at home over a 5-week period of time help increase student reading achievement among first grade students? By seeking an answer to this question, I will be able to understand if there is a correlation between parent involvement in their child's reading at home and their overall reading skills. The independent variable in this study is the exposure that parents and students have to the online reading resources provided by the child's classroom teacher. The dependent variable in this study is each child's oral reading fluency, or words read per minute, before the videos are sent to parents after 2 weeks of consistent at-home practice, and then at the end of the 5-week study. The amount of parental support a student has can be the key indicator regarding each individual's strengths and weaknesses. Research has proven that the more involved a parent is in a child's education, the more likely that child is to have higher levels of academic success when compared to a child with uninvolved parents. William H. James, in 2005, studied the overall impact of parent involvement on students by conducting a research study that involved drawing data from secondary schools, elementary schools, and a combination of the two. The results from this study revealed that on average, students with highly involved parents had achievement scores that were much higher than those students with parents whom were less involved. This study also researched that areas of parent involvement that have the greatest impact on student achievement. The results indicated that parent expectations have the greatest amount of impact on student achievement. While creating a connection between a child's home and school life are essential, engaging families in an early childhood education states that it is important that every effort be made to ensure that ongoing and effective communication and partnerships be established and maintained with parents. Suzanne Buford conducted a study to determine the usage and benefits of internet-based communication between families and school. Buford used 14,387 10th grade students, 88% of the parents of those 10th graders, and school administrators. Data was collected from parent report questionnaires, reports from administrators regarding teachers that use the internet to communicate with families, and school records. The results indicated that internet-based family-school communication is associated with higher student academic achievement and expectations. Data also indicated that utilizing technology as the only method of communication raises concerns about equity. The families that do not have access to technology devices will not benefit from communication that is solely internet-based. From this research, researchers are able to infer that educators can effectively communicate with parents through the use of not only technology, but also utilizing other forms of communication such as phone calls, conferences, written letters, etc., in order to increase parent involvement. Throughout the entire school year in first grade, we practice using the Beanie Baby reading strategies. Each reading strategy has a Beanie Baby animal that is associated with it, as well as a memorable name. The Beanie Baby reading strategies are Eagle Eye, Lips of Fish, Stretchy Snake, Chunky Monkey, and Skippy Frog. I created a set of instructional videos via screencast to introduce each reading strategy to parents. After I introduced each reading strategy, I thoroughly explained how to use it with their emergent reader and modeled using it within a leveled text. I tried to make these videos as authentic as possible. In addition to the reading strategy videos, I created videos to introduce parents to foundational comprehension skills, such as why comprehension is important, making predictions, making text-to-self and text-to-text connections, and retelling. These are more complex skills that their emergent readers will develop over time, but I wanted to share these so that parents can use them with their child when the time comes. Each of these videos were shared with parents using my classroom website. These were accessible whenever they needed to use them throughout the 5-week study. Additionally, parents were responsible for keeping a log of the reading that they completed with their child each week. Parents were expected to write the title of the book that they read with their child each night of the week, what strategies from the videos that they encouraged their child to use as they were reading, and any other comments or questions that they would like to ask or share with me. This reading log was sent back to school every day and returned each evening. Participants will include 10 first grade students ages 6 to 7 that are performing below grade level in the area of reading. Each of the participants' parents have agreed to participate in the research and will also participate by utilizing the resources that are provided in order to help them learn how to read with their child in a way that allows their child to enhance his or her reading skills. These parents have also indicated that they have internet access at home. There will be 4 girls and 6 boys in this group of participants. Race, ethnicity, and gender were not a deciding factor in this study. Scores from the fall benchmark assessment were used to determine which of my students are performing below grade level in the area of reading. To measure the independent variable, parents will fill out a reading log each night and return it to school the following day. This will allow me to gather information regarding the usage of the instructional videos. I will also be able to hold parents accountable for providing their child with effective reading practice at home with the use of these reading logs. In order to measure the dependent variable, Ames Web database will be utilized. Students will be given 3 grade level passages from Ames Web that will assess their oral reading fluency. The same passages will be given to students 3 times, once at the beginning of the study, once in the middle, and once at the end of the study to track his or her progress throughout the duration of this research. Students will read each passage for 1 minute. I will mark all errors throughout their reading and place a bracket after the last word that the child reads in 1 minute. The number of words read correctly on each passage will be added together and divided by 3 to create a median score. To measure each child's oral reading fluency progress throughout the study, I documented their number of words that were read correctly within a minute, at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the study. In order to calculate the score at each point in the study, I administered 3 separate grade level passages each time and averaged these 3 scores. The results are shown on this table. After analyzing my students' oral reading fluency scores from before, during, and after the implementation of this project, I determined that each of my students' scores increased over this 5-week period. As these are the 10 lowest readers in my class, my students did not have the word recognition or decoding skills to fluently read many words initially. My students' oral reading fluency scores range from 1 to 6 words read correctly per minute. After 2 weeks of reading practice at home, each student's oral reading fluency score increased by at least 2 words per minute. There was an increase of 2 to 8 words per minute among all 10 participants. Finally, after receiving a full 5 weeks of effective and meaningful reading practice at home, students' oral reading fluency scores increased by at least 1 additional word per minute from their previous score. There was an increase of 1 to 6 words per minute among all 10 participants. Overall, each student read at least 4 more words per minute than they did prior to this research project. In addition to these scores, I also collected and analyzed the parent comments on the nightly reading logs at the end of each week. From this information, I was able to see that parents did in fact utilize the resources that were provided for them to help provide more effective and meaningful reading practice at home. The reading logs also confirmed that the reading strategies that were the focus of my videos were used and reiterated by my students' parents each evening as they read with their child throughout this research study. I was able to gather this information based on the notes that parents wrote in the comments or questions section of the nightly reading log. Several parents asked questions about the content that was discussed in specific videos. Many parents also referred to the strategies in their comments, which indicated that they had in fact utilized these reading resources. In conclusion, the data that I collected allowed me to determine that increased parental involvement does, in fact, positively impact student reading achievement. I will continue to create and provide parents with decoding and comprehension videos to use at home. Not only will I continue to provide these for parents of my struggling readers, but I will also provide these to all parents of students in my first grade class. I feel as though parents of all students in my class could benefit from these videos. I will continue to use these resources and this parental involvement strategy in years to come.